Hi, if you have a website or a web shop and you use a lot of images on it, then you will know how much time it takes to edit images. And if you are talking about only one image, well, you may talk about 2-3 minutes per image. But if you have a lot of those, as I did, then you start to really appreciate a tool that can do bulk editing. So for example, do multiple images at one go, resizing, cropping, flipping, etc. So today I'm going to talk about IrfanView, which is a very versatile but free image editing tool. My name is Olaf and I'm your tool finder. So why did I need this in the first place? As said, I have this web shop for sneakers, and now I do all those things automatically, but in the beginning I used to upload a lot of stuff manually. So I grabbed some images from other websites, I edited those images and uploaded them onto my own website. And in the beginning I was looking for tools that could do this faster and more efficient as a productivity guy. So I needed bulk options for cropping, for resizing the canvas, which is the total dimension, and maybe to add watermarks as well. For example, when you are posting on Facebook or Instagram, you would like to have your own brand in it. And it took me like 3 minutes on average to modify each image. And if you talk about 1 or 2, okay, you can do this, but I was talking about 500 a day. So I needed a solution. But apart from the web shop and the images going onto that website, I also use a WordPress blog. And for that as well, you need a tool that can modify your images, make them pretty, crop them into the nice dimension that you want, but also can compress them as small as possible without losing quality, which is obviously good for SEO reasons. So what are the benefits of this tool? Well, it can do a lot of what paid tools can do. It's powerful. You can do the bulk editing, which I'm going to show you. It's fast. It's a small program. And last but not least, it is a free program. And what are people saying about it? About IrfanView Image Editor. So you can see here ratings of 4.5, 4.2, 4.5. So on average, pretty excellent, I would say. And granted, it's not the most intuitive tool. It's very, nitty-gritty. I mean, you really have to do a lot of image editing, and you have to do a bit of a study to understand what you can do with it. But once you grasp the idea, it is very powerful indeed. So as usual, if applicable, we are going to see how much time or money we can save or earn extra if we use this tool. So in this specific case, I assume that you have a lot of images. And before we go into the tool itself, it has like 3 variables. The images that you would like to bulk edit per week, the time that you spend per image, and the fee that you could charge a client or that you would calculate for yourself as an internal rate. And this gives us a total per week, and multiplied by 40 work weeks in a year, you would find your savings per year. So I know a lot of people wouldn't use the bulk image feature, but even without using the bulk editor, it's really a powerful editing tool in itself. So only if you have to edit only a couple of images per week, still give IrfanView a chance, I would say, because it's very, very easy, it's lightweight, it's free. So just try it out for yourself. So here we are at the calculator, and as you can see, we have the 3 variables: the bulk editing images per week, the time you would spend per image to edit it, and the client fee that you can charge your clients with. So in my case, it was something like, put it over here, something like 100, no kidding, and I would calculate $30 for myself, so I would save like $150 per week of time, multiplied by 40 would be $6,000 per year. But let's take a more normal number of images. So let's assume you would have like 10 images that you would like to edit per week. And this editing is then, of course, with the same settings. And you would normally use up about one image in 3 minutes, which is maybe even on the low side, because you have to look it up, you have to crop it, you have to flip it, you have to do all kinds of stuff to it, then you have to save it again to the right place, etc. And let's assume that you are self-employed, so you can charge $60 to your clients. Then also in that case you would save $30 per week. Easy money, $1,200 a year, I would say. But let's play with this, and let's say you have like 50 a week because you have web shop or you're into e-commerce in some way. And 2 minutes you spend on average, and you also calculate $30 for yourself. You still would save $50 per week, which is very interesting, I would say. So if we go back here, as usual, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So let's go to IrfanView. So here I am. I have opened up a folder with 10 images in it. As you can see, they all have different dimensions. And what I would like to do is to edit all those images to fit into the 1200 by 800 category. I have found out that this is a very good ratio, 1200 by 800, at least for sneakers it's ideal, but also for the featured image in WordPress this is great. So if I open it up, and as you can see I already have IrfanView attached to the JPG files as standard, as default. So whenever I click, it will open up in IrfanView immediately. And this is what it looks like. And you have all kinds of options with this singular image. So you can do all kinds of stuff with it. You can remove things, you can crop, you can have overlays, you can have watermarks, you can flip them horizontally, vertically, do all kinds of color stuff with it. But today I am not going to go into detail about this, but I'm just going to show you the bulk editing feature, because in my case we're talking about productivity secrets, and the big productivity gain in this case is with the bulk feature. So to enter the bulk, or to go into the bulk editing mode, you have to press B, which I'm going to do, and then you end up in this screen. And these are the 10 sneaker images. So what I could do is, for example, I show you with one first. I will keep them in the same folder. So I'm not going to go into detail about this, if you don't mind. If you are interested in using IrfanView and using the bulk editor, then you just go into IrfanView and press B, and you end up over here. And you have to adjust your settings however you want them. So in this case, the settings are under advanced. And here, and this might look a little bit scary at first, but here is where you can save your settings to be applied to all your images. So in this case, I want to resize it to 1200 by 800 pixels. I want to preserve the aspect ratio, so I want to preserve this ratio between the length and the height. I want to auto crop borders, which means that if there is white around it, it will be cropped. And the canvas should end up being 1200 by 800. And if it is larger than the image itself, it will fill up the space with white. That's actually what it's going to do over here. and it will overwrite existing files and delete the original files after. But these are all settings you can choose. As you can see, you can adjust colors, you can flip it horizontally, vertically, you can rotate it. And once you're happy with your settings, you can save your settings, and the next time you can just well, load them whenever you need them. So for example, I have a lot of different settings. As you can see here, I have ones with watermark, without watermark, in German, in Dutch, for Facebook, so 1000 by 1000. Different settings. These are, for example, for covering your whole desktop. So there are a lot of options, but in this case, I'm just going to go for the regular one. But the point is, you should take one image and apply all these settings to it. Whenever you're happy, you remember your settings and you save it. And depending on all the options you tick, it could be necessary to change the order. So in this case, it auto crops first, then it resizes, and then it changes the canvas size. And in that way, it will end up as 1200 by 800. If you would do it in another order, that wouldn't be the case. So if I would say, for example, resize first to 1200 by 800, then enlarge the canvas size to 1200 by 800 and fill it up with white background, and then auto crop, then at the end it would auto crop and it would still end up being smaller probably than 1200 by 800 because there would be white around it. So you can move up or down the order in which you want these images to be processed, which is great, because I figured out over the last couple of years that you really, if it doesn't do what you want, it must have to do with change order, with the order in general. So okay, let's see what happens. So I have this one over here. You can see I selected just this one, and I would start the batch. And you can see it now. If you open it again, you can see it has been applied. So it's now 1200 by 800, right? It used to be, I don't know what it was, but it was bigger. And now it's perfect 1200 by 800. And the rest is white. That's why you might say, well, it doesn't look like 1200 by 800, but that has to do with the canvas. So let's go into IrfanView again. Go to bulk editing. I would now select all of these files and drag them into the area, and now start the batch. I return, and you can see that they have all been, well, it's easier to do it like this. And then the size, so now you can see they all have been changed to 1200 by 800, but they still look as they should. So sometimes a little bit of white has been added to the side, sometimes it has been added to the top, sometimes you don't see it at all because it just fits perfectly, like in this case. And in this way, in a matter of seconds, I edited all those sneakers to be 1200 by 800 pixels. So this is how it works. IrfanView in a nutshell. Obviously, as I said, I will open it up once again. There are a lot of options you can do with it, but in this case, I was just worried about the bulk feature over here. So again, if you are in the bulk feature, you do the batch conversion. You can also batch rename, but I just keep batch conversion. You can change your options here regarding the quality, so you can also lower the file size. If you need your website to be lightning fast, it might be a good idea to well, change this into 50 or whatever, but bear in mind that you still have to check with the first ones to see what the quality will be. And you can also change this to another type. And here The advanced options are where you can set all your different modifications that you want to be done to your images. Well, I hope you liked this, and I'll see you in the next video.